Hello everyone, this is Christian from the Bloomingdale Public Library. Today we'll be going over how to use Google Keep. This is a note-taking app that you can use on your phone, tablet, or desktop computer. Google Keep offers multiple options for taking notes, but first we're going to go over the general layout. At the top of the page, you're going to see a search bar that you can use once you've started creating notes. This will let you search through by any terms that you may have added in case you need to narrow down which note you're looking for. You're going to see a refresh button over to the right. Next to that is going to be a view option button, which gives you list view or grid view. And then you'll have your settings icon. You can use this to change things out like your dark theme, your general settings for how you'd like to have new items be added, and things like your reminder settings as well. The last sections you'll see are going to be the normal Google Apps options and then just your account options. On the left, we have our menu options. So we have the Notes tab that you'll be in by default. The next one down is your Reminders tab. And then you'll have any existing labels you've created. And after that is going to be a section where you can create or edit new labels. After that, you'll have your Archive option. This is going to be good if you want to just take some of your notes away from that main notes page, but you don't want to delete them entirely. The last option is going to be the Trash option, where you'll actually put notes that you do want to get rid of entirely. Across the front, you'll see 3 different note options that I've set up here. We can do listings, we can do pictures with labels, and then we have the option to also do drawings that we can attach to notes. So if we wanted to create a brand new note, we'll go up to the top where it says take a note, and then go ahead and click right on that. It'll let you immediately start typing out what you'd like your note to say, and above it'll be a section so that you can actually label that note for what it relates to. Whenever you want to make a new note, you'll either be able to click right on the text to start typing, or you can choose which type of note you'd like it to be over on the right side. So we can do a new list, you can do a new note with a drawing, or you can do a new note with an image. First, we'll just do a regular note. So when you click for a note, it's going to give you your sections where you can put in your title and the note content itself, and you're going to have a few different menu options underneath. The first one is Remind Me, and this is if you wanted to set up a reminder. You can choose the date and the time for this. You can also choose locations if it's important to note where it's going to be at. The next option is for collaborators. This would be if you wanted to share with someone else the note. This would allow them to be able to edit it as well. You can also set it up where they can just view the note. The next option is background options. This will allow you to put a color to the note if you want to make it easier to distinguish it amongst your list. You can also choose to have different textured backgrounds as well. The next option after that is going to be Add Image. This is where you'll go if you want to actually add a picture to your note. You would just pick it from your file browser and then it would add it onto the section. The option after that is to Archive. This is going to be after you've created a note and you've decided you don't want to have it on your main list anymore. You just click this and it would move it over to the Archive section, and it would give you a little note to let you know that that happened. After that, you have your menu with more options. You can use this to add a label. So if you decide that you wanted to create a new label for this note to make it part of a set, or if you wanted to use an existing label, you can just click right on it and it'll add it to that group. You also have the option here to add a drawing. So if you did need to write something down for any reason, you could do that through here. It's pretty much a click and drag. And you can also go through at the top and you'll see different options to adjust the size of the pen, the color of it. If you have other things you'd like to use, highlighters, erasers, you can go through here and do all of that as well. When you're done with this, you would just click the left back arrow in the top left corner. It would take you back to your main page and show you the drawing you've made. If you decided you didn't want that drawing, you could just click on the trash can in the bottom right and that would remove it from your note. The last options are going to be the undo and redo buttons. So in case you do anything to the note while you're working on it, you can always go back to make those adjustments if you need to. And then at the end, once we're done, we would just click on close to close the note. The option at the top right is going to let you pin the note in case you need to actually make sure it stays at the top for any reason. The next option we can do is to create a list. So you click on New List at the top, and then you would start writing out your options. So let's say we wanted to do a grocery list. You could title a note grocery, and then for listing your items, you could start with just the items you need to get if you know what it is, or you can choose to do it by store, and then it can be categorized a little bit further. So for example, let's say we wanted to go to Walmart and we knew we needed to get 2 or 3 things from there. We gotta get pizza, we need to get some burgers, and some ice cream. So as you're typing, you're going to get automatic suggestions based off of what typically gets entered by people when they search for these things or type them out. If you want to use it, you can just click right on it. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to click. You can just hit enter and it'll skip right along to whatever you've already written. If you want to make sure that you have it a little bit more easier to view, like let's say you have a second store you're going to be going to, what you can do is you can click on the left side of any of the note options on the list, and you'll see this little set of dots here. If you click and drag that to the right, it'll nest it underneath whatever's above it. So we could move over the pizza, the burgers, and the ice cream cake, and now these would all be part of the Walmart set. And then if you wanted to do different ones for Target, you could do the same thing. So you could keep going into your next section. You could choose your options that you needed to get on there, and then you could just drag them over to indicate which store you need to get it from. As you're going through the store, if you're checking things out, all you have to do is click on the little checkbox, and it would automatically move it from the main section down to the completed section. And it would include where you got it from, so it'd make it a little easier for you to keep track of everything. If you've already done this with a couple things and you clicked one on accident, you could always just unclick the checkbox and it would pull it right back up to where it was before. The next type that we can create is going to be a note with a drawing. So for this one, you would just click right on that brush symbol and it would go into your drawing section first. So this could be, let's say you go to a doctor's appointment. You could go right up here, and if you wanted to scribble down some notes that he gave you in whatever color and size you wanted, you could say, doc. And you could just scribble out any of the notes that you need to get on there that you'd prefer to draw versus having to type. This is also good if you need to try and, do like a little bit of a makeshift drawing or a note on there to indicate something. Once that's been done, you'd go back and you'd be able to still make adjustments to the note from here. So you could still add your collaborators, your reminders. If you needed to add an image or if you wanted to do anything in addition to that, you could do it through here. There is also an option called grab image text that you can do, and that would actually go ahead and pull the text directly on there for you. The last option is going to be to add a new note with an image. So you would click right on that option in the upper right, and it's going to give you a file browser. From here you could go to whatever picture you wanted to get. So let's say we'll go to the pictures folder, and we've got a picture in there that we want to upload as a note. You'd click on the image and choose open, and then it would upload that picture directly into Google Keep for you. Once the picture's been added, you could just scroll down and you'd see the sections for your title and your note still. And then you could go ahead and add whatever notes you wanted to from here. And same thing, you can still go through and add labels, or if you want to add a drawing, you could do that as well. If you did want to make a bullet list for this or checkbox list instead of just a regular text, you do have the option to choose show checkboxes, and that'll actually convert it over into a list note instead of a regular note. Google has been working on this system for about 10 years now. So they are constantly putting out new updates every few months for it. One of the new ones coming out on some parts is a version history option. This allows you to go in and download a note from a previous version that you'd created. So if you knew you had the notes written right 2 weeks ago, and since then you've made a lot of changes and you realize that that was done in error or that wasn't the way that you wanted it to be, you can always go back into the older versions of it and download those old copies of the notes. Overall, these are all of the different options that Google Keep will allow you. Again, this is a more basic note-taking and note-sharing app, and it's meant more for the individual user versus something that's on a more large scale or an organization. If you're happy with the way this works, if you like having a simple grocery list or a simple way to take notes when you go to make a doctor's visit or something like that, this would work fine for you. If you are looking for something that's a bit more robust or has more options to offer, there are a few other companies that do something very similar. Some of them do have a free option, but typically there is more of a paid setup for those. These would be platforms like Nimbus, which has a lot of different options set up on more of a business side for note taking. Microsoft does also offer OneNote. I believe that's with every account by default, so you'd have that as well. And then there's a couple other companies such as Todoist and then Trello. So again, you'll want to take a look at these, see which one's going to fit your needs best, because it is dependent on what you're looking to do overall. This is just with Google Keep, it's a good start if you're at least just trying to find something simple.